Tonight, storms across the country wreaking havoc on the busiest day of Memorial Day travel. New storms firing up right now in what's set to be a holiday weekend washout. This truck in Tennessee skidding down the highway, drivers escaping the floods from their sunroof. Torrential rain from Atlanta to New York. Long lines at some of the biggest airports, and that sinkhole at LaGuardia, the runway still shut down. Breaking tonight, legendary NASCAR driver Kyle Busch dead at 41. What we know about his sudden death. Also tonight, Ebola outbreak, chaos in Africa. Angry crowds setting hospital tents on fire. The new images of that American doctor fighting for his life in a biocontainment unit. Plus, the plane rerouted away from the U.S. over fears of the deadly virus. The surprise twist in the school shooting trial, the judge tossing out the case for the vice principal charged after a teacher was shot by a 6-year-old, why the judge sided with the defense. On the run, video of a suspect wanted for Medicaid fraud in Minneapolis, fleeing after jumping off a balcony, as 15 people are accused of stealing $90 million. Republican backlash to President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. Will his own party kill it? And why the president said he may not attend his son Don Jr.'s wedding this weekend. Our series, The Cost of Denial, and the surprise apology from a healthcare CEO after our investigation into the struggles of military families. Trapped in a wall, the bizarre rescue, a man stuck there for 10 hours. Why he was arrested just after being freed. The police car dangling off a bridge. What happened to the officer inside? And there's good news tonight. The big reveals. The senior class taking off the mask for the very first time. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. We do begin tonight with a brutal start to the holiday travel weekend, with millions of people already dealing with major headaches across the country. Today is the busiest air travel day of the holiday, but we're seeing major chaos on the roads already. This truck in Chattanooga toppling over in heavy rain and skidding down the highway, stalling traffic for hours. And this was the scene in New York City. Look at this. After heavy rains flooded streets, bringing down trees and power lines. But it was this sinkhole that opened up at LaGuardia that caused problems, sending a ripple effect of delays and cancellations across all 3 of the city's major airports. At Newark, some flyers stranded for hours because of it. And the weather is just getting started. Look at this. For much of the East Coast, almost the entire holiday weekend will be a complete washout. We'll get to that forecast in a moment, but we want to begin our coverage tonight with Tom Costello.
On a rain-soaked highway near Chattanooga, a very close call this afternoon as a semi tips over on I-24, sending sparks flying as it skids down the highway. While America's biggest city continues to dry out from the deluge that flooded streets, highways, and intersections, snarling traffic. New Yorkers wading through knee-deep water, with high winds bringing down trees and power lines Wednesday. A Waymo taxi flooded out in Atlanta, and heavy traffic today. Meanwhile, one of New York's critical high-density runways remains closed tonight.
422 is closed for a sinkhole over there.
After a sinkhole opened up on LaGuardia Runway 4.
The tower just called us and said they cannot take any more airplanes.
As the weather led to a cascade of delays and cancellations at all 3 New York airports. One Newark passenger says he was stuck on a plane for hours.
We ended up just sitting on the tarmac for 7 hours.
America's 2 busiest airports, Chicago and Atlanta, packed today.
Come early and just prepare for anything.
And the start of more record-breaking passenger levels this summer. For its part, American expects to carry a record 75 million passengers between now and Labor Day. That's 500 customers every minute. And Americans are paying more. Domestic airfares now averaging $441 round trip, up 53% from a year ago. On the nation's roads, the national average now $4.56 a gallon, up from $3.18 a year ago, with the war pushing gas prices above $4 in all 50 states.
It's definitely a problem because we are headed to South Carolina, so this is a long trip.
Tom joins us now live. And Tom, even though airfare prices are up as you reported, TSA is still expecting a record number of travelers?
18.3 million people will be screened at TSA checkpoints this extended weekend, even more over the summer, because, of course, we've got America 250 and the World Cup celebrations. That will mean record numbers of passengers, Tom.
A lot of travelers this weekend and a lot of rain. We are tracking those major rainmakers right now, set to wash out the Memorial Day weekend for much of the country. Bill Cairns is here now. And Bill, when do all these storms sort of get started across the country?
Unfortunately, they've already begun in areas of Texas, and that's where they're going to be the worst over the holiday weekend. So we're kind of officially in our flash flood season, Memorial Day to Labor Day. Near Junction, Texas, we have flash flood warnings. In this area of South Texas to Southeast Texas, Corpus Christi, Austin, near the Houston area, that's the greatest area of concern over the next 3 days. Multiple rounds of storms. Some areas could get up to 6 inches of rainfall over the next couple of days. But not just that. Look at how many people are going to be soaked over the holiday weekend. So let's break it down day by day, because the worst of it on Saturday is going to be in the mid-Atlantic region and also into the southeast areas of South Texas. And then as we look at areas of Sunday, still tracking wet weather in the south. By the time we get to Memorial Day, it's lighter in the northeast, Tom, but we still have that Texas flood threat.
Okay, Bill, we thank you for that. We have some shocking and sad news out of the sports world tonight. NASCAR superstar Kyle Busch has died at the age of 41. Sam Brock is here with more. And Sam, I know there's a lot we still have to learn about what happened here. We don't know why he died or how.
There are still questions about how he died, Tom. There were also warning signs from earlier today. I should note, hours earlier, Kyle's family posting onto social media he had been hospitalized with a severe illness and was currently undergoing treatment. They did not, Tom, specify for what. Now, Busch was pulled from a race in Charlotte this weekend. Now, NASCAR confirming tonight that the 41-year-old has passed away. He is one of the most decorated drivers in NASCAR's history, having won 234 races across NASCAR's 3 national series. He won Cup Series titles in 2015 and 2019, a very big deal in the sport. NASCAR writing in part in a statement tonight, our entire NASCAR family is heartbroken by the loss of Kyle Busch, a future Hall of Famer. Kyle was a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation. During a race less than 2 weeks ago, Tom, he had radioed into his crew to request medical aid. And now tonight, this tragic turn. We're waiting to learn more.
All right, Sam Brock, a major name there in that sport. Sam, we thank you for that one. Tonight, a new plan from U.S. officials to stop the fast-moving Ebola outbreak in Africa from arriving here in the U.S. It comes as protesters in the Democratic Republic of Congo set a medical clinic on fire. Here's Maggie Vespa with those images.
Tonight, outrage amid Africa's Ebola outbreak. New video showing a medical clinic engulfed in flames. Authorities say protesters were angry officials wouldn't release the body of a loved one likely killed by the virus. Here, beds burned to a crisp. Experts stressing safe burials are critical because Ebola can spread through contact with infected remains. This as the race to contain the outbreak wreaks havoc in the skies, with an Air France flight to Detroit diverted to Canada Wednesday after U.S. officials say a passenger from the Democratic Republic of Congo boarded in error. Customs and Border Protection not clarifying whether the traveler had recently been in the DRC or was exhibiting symptoms of Ebola. Debbie Mister was on that flight.
I'm very concerned. I have friends that have, immune problems. Why was this person allowed on this plane? How did they slip through?
The U.S. now sending all passengers who have visited affected countries in the last 3 weeks to Washington Dulles International Airport, where the CDC will conduct enhanced public health entry screenings. Meanwhile, chilling new images of Dr. Peter Stafford, the American surgeon infected with Ebola, in a fully enclosed biocontainment pod earlier this week. The doctor saying, before I was evacuated, I was feeling really concerned I wasn't going to make it. And now I'm cautiously optimistic. But experts say with cases soaring in Africa, global spread is likely.
Would you be surprised to see cases in the U.S.?
I would not be surprised to see cases in the United States. However, we do have a network of hospitals that are prepared to deal with it. It gives us an advantage over other countries.
Maggie Vespa joins us now. Maggie, as this outbreak spreads, there's now some finger pointing going on.
Yeah, Tom, exactly. NBC News spoke to a dozen former federal employees who say the Trump administration's gutting of USAID funding last year, they believe, has slowed America's response to this Ebola outbreak, allowing case numbers, they say, to climb higher and faster. Tom.
Okay, Maggie Vespa for us. Maggie, thank you. We're going to turn to politics now and the new pressure on President Trump from some Republican lawmakers criticizing his proposed nearly $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. Garrett Hake has the late details.
Tonight, as President Trump touts his winning streak with Republican voters, he's facing new opposition from Republican lawmakers on two of his high-profile priorities.
This is bad policy, it's bad timing, and it's bad politics.
The Senate abandoning a planned vote today and leaving town amid GOP infighting over his $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, which would pay out compensation to Trump allies who say they were unfairly prosecuted by the Biden administration, possibly including January 6th rioters pardoned by President Trump.
These people don't deserve restitution. Many of them deserve to be in prison.
President Trump recently defending the fund.
The Biden administration was horrible in terms of what they've done to people is incredible.
And some GOP senators also moving to pull $1 billion in White House ballroom security funding, all as Trump-endorsed candidates just had a clean sweep winning GOP primaries. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez with the president.
Are you losing control of the Senate Republican?
I don't know. I really don't know.
What if Congress doesn't sign off on the security money, sir?
Then the White House won't be a very secure place.
And as he negotiates with Iran,
we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
The president was asked, will he attend the weekend wedding of his eldest son, Don Jr.?
He'd like me to go, but it's going to be just a small little private affair, and I'm going to try and make it. I'm in the midst. I said, you know, this is not good timing for me. I have a thing called Iran and other things.
Other things, including Cuba. Garrett joins us now live. And Garrett, we know there's a new headline out of that country with the Trump administration moving an aircraft carrier nearby.
That's right, Tom. The USS Nimitz and its escort ships arrived in the Caribbean yesterday, where they could remain for months. The president today called Cuba a failed state, but said the warships weren't meant to intimidate the regime. Their presence there does send a message that the U.S. could be at that nation's doorstep quickly. Tom?
Garrett, our thanks to you. Now to Minnesota and the Trump administration announcing a series of criminal charges against 15 people they say defrauded Medicaid and other agencies of $90 million, with one of the suspects jumping off a balcony trying to flee arrest and was captured on camera. Here's Kelly O'Donnell.
In Minnesota today, the FBI urged the public to help find a fleeing suspect caught on video, wanted in a sweeping healthcare fraud investigation.
I want you to get a good look at him.
Authorities say the man jumped off a fourth-story balcony, visibly limping to escape arrest.
Too often here in Minnesota lately, fraudsters have turned government programs into their own personal ATMs.
Today, the Department of Justice investigation announced charges against 15 they describe as owners of child care centers and Medicaid providers. The DOJ says this fraud scheme could have reached $90 million, putting the vulnerable at risk.
One patient was supposed to be receiving 24-hour care through this program, but he was actually being serviced by a fraudster and received no services. This patient was later found dead.
In a separate investigation, a lengthy prison sentence today, nearly 42 years behind bars for Amy Bach, convicted in a $250 million COVID-related case as the former head of a nonprofit food program that prosecutors said filed fraudulent claims and took kickbacks. Late today, police in Minnesota say they arrested that fleeing suspect at a home linked to one of his alleged co-conspirators. Tom?
All right. Kelly, we thank you. When we continue in 60 seconds, our series, The Cost of Denial, and the healthcare CEO actually apologizing after our reporting. In our series, The Cost of Denial, we investigate the challenges Americans face with their insurance and healthcare coverage. And tonight we have a major update to our investigation from 2 weeks ago. More than a dozen military families were facing serious problems with their health care company. And tonight, after our report, the CEO of that company apologizing. Here's Erin McLaughlin.
You faxed.
Yes.
You faxed again.
Yes.
You called.
Yes.
You contacted your lawmaker.
Yes.
You posted on social media.
Yes.
And the one thing that made a difference.
You.
NBC.
NBC.
When we first met retired Sergeant First Class Guy Shoemaker, he was struggling.
The safest thing would be for you to get
a feeding tube.
Not.
I know.
Not a fan.
Cough.
After surviving stage 2 throat cancer, Guy, along with his wife Kathy, were battling to get coverage for critical care.
It's a click. Somebody's just got to check the box and say this person doesn't have an OHI.
OHI stands for Other Health Insurance. His healthcare administrator, Tri-West Healthcare Alliance, mistakenly believing Guy had other health insurance because of his separate vision plan, repeatedly denied his claims.
It's still happening.
Yes.
Tri-West serves 4.2 million military personnel and family members across 26 states. And we found Guy was far from alone. NBC News spoke with more than a dozen beneficiaries struggling with various coverage issues.
And now, a mea culpa. 2 weeks after our initial report, the company's CEO released this letter to beneficiaries saying, I want to personally take the opportunity to apologize to those of you who've experienced challenges with other health insurance on our watch. The letter acknowledges the issue led to denials, delay, and frustration.
Do you think that was because you spoke out?
Yes. It shouldn't take an outside entity, to say to you, look, buddy, you're screwing over a lot of veterans right now.
In the letter, the Tri-West CEO says the OHI denial rate is now down to 1.3%, nearly half what it was a year ago, and that the company has set up a special email address for those facing OHI problems. He adds we are in the process of making systems changes and customer service changes to improve the beneficiary experience.
These are just all the latest bills.
Guy says he recently was contacted by a new Tri-West representative who at last resolved his final OHI. But he also knows there are other Tri-West members still struggling with their claims. His message to them?
You have to step up and demand.
You're going to have to battle.
Yes, don't sit back and take it. Stand up and fight for what you earned.
Aaron joins us now live. Aaron, let's pick it up right there. What about the other dozen plus Tri-West members you've been on the phone with?
Tom, we've been following up with each of them. Many of their issues go well beyond this problem of other health insurance, almost all telling us that Tri-West representatives have been in touch trying to get their coverage claims resolved. But even tonight, some say they are still facing denials that they believe are wrong. Tom?
Aaron McLaughlin tonight for us. Aaron, thank you. When we return, a wild story. The police just ending their overnight shift, what they heard in the wall while they were getting coffee, and what they found inside. That's next. We're back now with a surprise ruling in a case we've been watching very closely. A judge in Virginia today dismissing a criminal case against a former assistant principal, Ebony Parker, you see her there, accused of ignoring warnings before a 6-year-old student shot teacher Abigail Zwerner. The judge ruling that Ebony Parker's actions did not show a reckless disregard for human life, which would be needed to convict. And look at this, a police cruiser upside down and dangling off the side of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel in Virginia. Our local station reports that the officer was taken to the hospital after the crash and no one was seriously injured. Also tonight, a wild story in Northern California. Here you can see first responders tearing apart a cafe wall in Salinas because a man was stuck behind it. Police say officers heard faint calls for help when they were ordering coffee at the end of their graveyard shift. They knocked on the wall and got a knock back. And look at this, they even had to cut him out of the wall. So what was he doing there? Still unclear, but he was later booked for burglary. All right, when we come back tonight here on Nightly News, the big reveals now going viral. The beloved college mascots finally unmasked. That's next. Finally, there's good news tonight. They are an iconic part of almost every college, the mascots. And this graduation season, the students who secretly embody them are finding fun ways to show their schools who they really are. It's a viral trend taking over the internet about a secret they've held for years.
You never know who's truly in the city.
At colleges and universities across the country,
Yes! Yes!
the students who secretly embody the school mascot,
what in the world?
Revealing their true identities just before graduation. Highly produced hype videos introducing the people behind the fuzzy faces.
We are the Hokie Bird. Guess who?
From the Ohio State mascot, Brutus Buckeye, and Kansas's Baby J, to Otto the Orange at Syracuse University, and Sebastian the Ibis at the University of Miami. The students behind the iconic characters bringing school spirit to new heights.
It's always going to be in the top 5 coolest things I've ever done.
And at the University of South Carolina,
Best mascot! Best mascot!
just listen to the class of 2026's reaction. Students like Braden Hensley donned the yellow feet for the final time at commencement, stopping by for a quick moment with mom and dad, before leading thousands of grads in one final spirit-filled celebration. What a great job to have. All right, that does it for us tonight. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Yamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.